What we want to present you tonight is something like employer branding. Well, we evaluated this from our own resources. We want to listen to two experts. We want to have a controversial discussion. What do they mean by brand awareness? Together with the Hochschule für Wirtschaft and the DZ we launched this employer brand study. We evaluated the employer brand, and now I would ask for the VTR.
Herr Jan, in unserer Studie
Hi, Jan. We asked in our employer branding studying the managers, and they told us that they think the relevance of employer branding is already very high and will become even higher. How big is the pain points? Well, pain is a good fitting word. We feel so much pain. They have an important warning function, physiologically speaking. We need to avoid the stimulus, or we need to withdraw from this painful stimulus. And that's what we are doing in employer branding. Well, the pains come from the demographic trend. And the warning signals are clearly visible on the horizon. That's why the employer branding topic has a high relevance. Recruiting of people, we need to have a closely fitting adjustment to refill the pension funds and the losses. We have a war for talents raging for so many years. Every talent we lose increases the pressure on the HR recruitment activity. I share this view that this topic will increase in relevance. That's why we need to be in for a rough sea. The companies inside and outside the real property business try to become a differentiate positioning both for possible new recruits and the old ones. Fridays for Future, and also due to the jurisdiction, almost all employers think that, especially for the generations Y and Z, the youngest generations, this relevance will also be so clearly visible. Social and ecological sustainability do not play an outstanding role. Political commitment of the companies is the last one on the list. How do you explain this result? And what does it mean for the employer branding of DZ? Well, we have taken an analytical look. It's true what you are saying. I was surprised to see these findings. If I had a wish free, I would wish for more focus on sustainability. Well, you can link our focus also the CO2 neutrality. If the real estate business can make a contribution, it is a good argument for striving for an employment in this sector. So I think it would be a good progress if we had a shift of the attention, a second explanation. Sustainability is not only an ecological topic alone, but it comprises the entire orientation of a company in social, economic, and ecological perspective. I think not every participant has grasped this when participating in this survey. You also, Professor Bongard, about what it means for the employer branding of the DZ. Well, for DZ, we claim that despite our high claim for performance, we cultivate a resourceful attitude. We know that our employees are the most important resource for our success, which shows also quite clearly in the microcosm every day in the routine at the workplace. We have had this confirmed in the context of our online survey with our employees. Of course, it can be added in a sensible way with the question of purpose, for example, with a clear connection with sustainability issues and energy issues. The study has also shown that the property industry has an outstanding attractiveness for employees with a real property background. However, the attractiveness of the various brands is declining with the younger generations and with the younger targets. What are these target groups lost for the real property industry or for you as a DZ Hüb? And if not so, what could you change this? Well, no, these target groups are highly relevant. On the contrary, our vision for the employer branding would be 2025. We will be younger. Will be more diverse, more digital. We will better performers. But what can we do for this? Well, it matters to me to say we do not know. I think it's not so easy to explain, do this and you will achieve that. I think there is no easy solution. We need to recognize this complexity, which is a good starting point. However, I am happy to give you some insight into our ideas here at DZ Hüb. The most important thing is that our own staff members must be used. We believe that they have a better connectivity to the world outside. We do not want to work outside of an ivory tower. We want to do this jointly in agile teams, for example, in the departments, HR, real property development. Two things that I want to pick that are just in the process of making. These are the following two. For example, recently we launched podcasts about the work in IT. The DZ Hüb, well, it's a low threshold issue that can be communicated also through WhatsApp and social channels. It gives you a clear insight into what is going on there and how you can also reach those people. So it's very authentic. It can be grasped with your own hands. It works very well. The second thing, it's what we call future workshops. Recently, we involved employees in a creative process where it was all about designing purpose drafts. We are not yet through, but it was important to us to get started, to have something in our hands behind which everybody can join, an IT expert and as well as a property developer. Why is it a good thing to work for DZ Hüb? That was the big question. And I think we need to go down this road further ahead. So it's also possible to instill enthusiasm to those who have not a background in real estate. Now about employer brand management. Our respondents responded only in an affirmative sense or in the satisfying category. They would not give a better mark. Generally speaking, the strength of employer branding in the property business are in the positioning. The weaknesses was the sound proving of information by clear KPIs, market research, competitive analysis, or awareness controlling. Can you give us a brief insight how DZ Hüb prevents this? Well, I am fully confident we are far away from a blind flight. From my point of view, I can only repeat my idea that the next future is foreseeable. On the contrary, I believe so many surprises. There will be so many dynamics and surprises in the war for talents. I think we are at the very outset. So we need to be in for a permanent iterative process of correcting your track. We need coordinates in the DZ Hüb. Our employer branding is controlled through 12 criteria that give us feedback on whether the sum of our activities has a positive impact so that we can approach our objectives. Of course, we support market research, for example, also in our joint study. Thank you very much for this interview.